Bit of a different one today. So I am outside and I've got this cool new mosquito killing light, and it's been a big day. It's been a massive day. The boy is sleeping, and I just thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to sit outside, enjoy some of the nature, and do the reading for today from here. So something that we need to know going into this is, as we do know, hopefully, God is all-knowing, ever-present. Today is tomorrow is 100,000 years ago, whatever, for him, is my point. Time is not something that he travels through, but that he is above and on top of, right? So God knows what we will do. God knows what we have done. God knows how we will live and how we will die. Is there something in my beard? Maybe. Oh, distracting. So God knows all. Past, present, future, he knows it all. Okay? So I'm going to start reading Exodus 28. This stemmed from, there's a show on YouTube called The Promised Land. It's just launched its season finale this week. Not 100% biblically accurate. It's basically The Office crossed with Exodus. Interesting, to say the least. It's entertaining. But it inspired me to read a bit more about this, right? So Exodus 28, we're reading the garments for the priesthood. Verse 1. Now take Aaron your brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister to me as priest. Aaron and Aaron's sons, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. And you shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother, for glory and for beauty. So you shall speak to all who are gifted artisans, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garments, to consecrate him, that he may minister to me as priest. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, an ephod, a robe, a skillfully woven tunic, a turban, and a sash. So they shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother and his sons, so that he may minister to me as priest. So Exodus 28, Aaron is being, what's the word? He's been granted an incredible position by God. So God has ordained Aaron to be the high. Has ordained Aaron to be the high priest, and that he may minister to me as priest. It says in verse 4. That's chapter 28. All right, I'm going to speed this along because I tend to ramble a little bit. Jump forward a few chapters to chapter 32. We'll start again at verse 1. So Aaron is the high priest. Big move, big deal. That's in 28. We're now 4 chapters later. Now when the people saw that Moses delayed coming down from the mountain, the people gathered together to Aaron and said to him, Come, make us gods that shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what's become of him. And Aaron, the high priest, what did he do? Aaron said to them, Break off the gold earrings which are in the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me. So all the people broke off the golden earrings which were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. And he received the gold from their hand, and he fashioned it with an engraving tool, and he molded a calf. Then he said, This is your God, O Israel, that you brought out of the land of Egypt. This is a high priest. Moses, so context, Moses has basically given them some instructions about creating Aaron's robes. Then Moses has headed up to the top of the mountain to talk with God and receive the 10 Commandments. So he's been up there a little while. People are getting impatient. They say to Aaron, Hey, what do we do? And his answer is, here's a fake god made out of gold that you can bow down to and that will lead you. I'm like, what? And again, God knew Aaron. God knew in advance what Aaron would do. And yet he made him high priest anyway. I'm taking a lot sort of out of context there. And there was punishment. But God still made Aaron the high priest. And the Aaronic priesthood is a massive, massive legacy for Jews, for Christians, for the world, really. There's a lot of history there. And it really got me thinking, like, God knew, like, the 10 Commandments, right? So the book of, there's a number of the Moses books that are all about law and contain a lot of law. But the 10 Commandments are like the top 10. You don't break these. Number 1, you'll have no other gods before me. The high priest, before the 10 Commandments came down off the mountain, broke rule number 1. You have no other gods. What? And God still made him high priest? It just blows my mind. And it goes to show there is no sin on the face of this earth that we can commit that is greater than what God has planned for us or for his plan, really. So yeah, that was my thoughts around that. It just astounded me that, well, that was what I took from it, really, was, God knows Aaron. God knew that Aaron would do what Aaron did, and he still granted him the position of high priest, and he still allowed him to serve in that super, super important position. Also, back then, God was, for lack of a better way of saying it, not as accessible as he is today. So, back in the Old Testament, there was, the temple was set up in a way that, you can hear that I'm not super educated on this, right? Temple was set up in a way that only certain people, the high priest, could actually go into this room where the presence of God was. Now we know after, Jesus' death and resurrection that the Holy Spirit can live among us. But prior to this, it was very few people who had access to God, and Aaron was one of them. And despite the fact that he broke rule number 1 before rule number 1 was even a thing, like it's the most obvious rule, God still was like, no, you are going to lead. You are going to do what I say. You are going to lead, and my will is my will. You will fall under it, despite whatever Aaron chose to do. So there's no sin that you can do that will override what God has planned for you. It doesn't mean go out and do sins, obviously. That would be silly. But the point is there's no power that sin has that God can't be greater than. God's will is ultimate. God's will is powerful. God's will is, will not be defeated. So keep that in mind. Hope you're well and happy. Today's technically Sunday, but I hope you've had a good Sabbath.